Meanwhile, another decision that the Dolphins made is they released wide receiver Chad Johnson one day after he was arrested on a misdemeanor domestic battery charge in Florida of his wife of a month. Adam, he was already coming off a season of, let's face it, career lows. It's probably a good way to put it, in New England last year. So what's the future like for him?
A couple of things to keep in mind here. The Dolphins were probably the only team that had interest in him after New England cut him. He's now been cut twice in the last 5 or 6 months. He's 34 years old. There's been diminishing production. There's an ongoing legal situation. Right now, he's radioactive to other teams around the league. He might one day get another opportunity with another team. I spoke to one front office executive this morning, and he said to me, no, he thinks he's done. He thinks he won't play again in this league. Now, again, Terrell Owens got another shot. Randy Moss came back out of retirement. You don't know what happens a year from now when teams have injuries, when perspectives change. But right now, it's a tough time for Chad Johnson, and it's going to be difficult for him to salvage his career, particularly this season.
He put himself in a position where really the coaches look at it this way. Does the production, is it worth the drama? And right now it is not. And you make a great point. He might get another opportunity, but here's the problem. He hadn't been in training camp. He struggled in New England learning that offense. So if Chad is no longer in training camp with somebody, he might not be the first guy you want to bring in if somebody gets hurt. Can he learn the system?
And you want him to get his personal life together.
That's probably the most important thing.
Chad Johnson being released by the Miami Dolphins. This happened yesterday, about 24 hours after he was arrested in a domestic battery case involving his wife. Johnson's wife, Evelyn, accused him of headbutting her during an argument in front of their home late on Saturday night. Skip, what are your thoughts?
Stephen A. Smith.
Yes, sir.
This is a tough one for me.
Both of us.
Chad and I have had our battles over the years, but I have love for Chad. I still believe that Chad has a good heart. And I was very, very sad to hear all of the above that you just talked about. Because I thought that my frenemy Chad had finally fallen into the perfect spot for him, back with his hometown team that desperately needed a #1 receiver. And you know what? So far, he'd played like a #1. Just in the video I saw, he was playing fast and he was playing quick, like '09 Cincinnati, quick and fast. And I thought, Chad has rediscovered Chad in Miami. Now, this. I don't know exactly what happened in that car between him and his wife. It's the classic he said, she said.
Yep.
But I did not think that the new rookie coach, Philbin, should have cut him so quickly. I thought it was cold-blooded and out of bounds, that he should have waited for the legal outcome of this. And because of that, I tweeted last night that because Chad's record has been clear, that he's had no off-the-field incidents that I knew of, no arrests during his pro career, I said that Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys should leap to sign Chad today, now that he's hit the open market. But Stephen A., I did not know last night what I read this morning. First in USA Today, though I think it had been reported in the Miami Herald, maybe even before that, that Chad, while in college, was charged with domestic violence against his then-girlfriend, and he wound up serving a probation and having to undergo anger management. That changes a lot of things for me, because we have said again and again on this show that we did not know of any off-field incidents that Chad has been involved in. That puts this in a different light, and now I'm not so sure that I would leap to sign Chad Johnson.
Well, first of all, I appreciate your position. I'm disappointed in the whole situation. But I think before I elaborate extensively, let me preface my comments by saying I don't condone any man putting his hands on a woman. I have never put my hands on a woman, and I never will. And when you find yourself in that kind of precarious situation, there's a level of accountability that must come along with it. Chad Johnson, whether, he headbutted her or she headbutted him or whatever the case may be, reports subsequently came out that she ran to the neighbors to seek assistance and asked them to call the police. That does not look good for Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson, to some degree, put himself in this situation for a multitude of reasons. Number one, the constant need to bring attention to himself. But number two, and more importantly, and I have to be very, very careful about how I say this, Skip Bayless, who he married. Let's just call it what it is.
Yep.
Now, we're going to get down
Yep.
to the nitty-gritty here because this is called First Take, and this is what we do.
We're embracing
All right,
debate.
we're going to, this is not, because I don't think Skip is going to debate me on this one. This is really about just enlightening everybody about what's going on.
Right.
I do not know Evelyn Lozada. I do not know her. I have never met her or anything. Maybe she is a wonderful, wonderful woman. And we know that we have to presume that Chad loves her very much because he married her. This is 5 weeks.
Yeah,
5 weeks in.
6 weeks
It'll be
Wednesday.
6 weeks this Wednesday, and you're already in the news. You got a reality show that's debuting in September. You already taped most of that. So all I have to lean on, to some degree, without absolving Chad Johnson, because we don't know what happened. And I'm not here to cast any aspersions on either of them in terms of the incident itself. We don't know. But I'm looking at reality TV. I'm looking at the character that she plays, the way she conducts herself on TV. Okay? Yeah. I'm also looking at a report here, Skip Bayless. Remember Star Jones, who used to star on The View? I remember when a petition was put out in terms of addressing the level of violence, the venom that was spewed, the physical confrontations, and Evelyn Lozada was targeted as a part of this petition.
They were protesting the marriage of Chad and Evelyn.
Exactly.
With that petition.
All of this stuff that's going on.
Those were fans of basketball wives.
Right. So ultimately, here you are in a situation where, believe it or not, in the age that we're living in, how much you want to make a bet she benefits from this. But Chad, the football player, his career is now officially in jeopardy. I totally agree with you about Philbin and these guys in Miami. I mean, my good single, solitary...